First of all, two important things for this video. Number one, I watch a lot of videos about fun facts of the show and things like that. I check the wiki a lot, but obviously I don't have absolute knowledge of everything related to the show, so if any of these theories have either been confirmed or denied by like a very specific tweet of one of the writers, or like one of those like random pop-up trivias that used to appear in the show, feel free to insult me in the comments down below. Second, I intentionally tried not to watch other people's theories, so if any of these are already like popular or unpopular theories, I'm sorry. Theory number 1. The original 10 aliens are the original 10 DNA samples. This would make a lot of sense, as it will be easy for Azimuth to have scanned himself as the first alien, with the DNA of a galvanic mechamorph being also easy to obtain for someone like him, and possibly obtaining the Petrosapien DNA directly from Tetrax, with all the other 7 DNA samples being either samples that Azimuth had been investigating, like the strange DNA of an ectoneurite, and the others being planets found near of Galvan Prime. Theory number 2. The aliens of Alien Force were selected by Azimuth. I base this theory on the similarities between the aliens of the original series and the ones from Alien Force, with this being the best example. But the question then is, why would Azimuth select them? Well, if you consider the whole feedback retcon from Omniverse and the time that happens between that and Ultimate Alien, Azimuth has more or less accepted Ben as the user of the Omnitrix, and saw him being sad from losing feedback. So it would make sense that he decided, as part of the recalibration of the Omnitrix, to select a new group of aliens that would have a good combination of not only familiar abilities for Ben to use, but also abilities that would challenge Ben, like those of Alien X. Which brings us to Theory 3. Alien X can go Ultimate. The evolution of the aliens that the Ultimatrix does puts the alien on a type of simulation, what is supposed to be like a million years of like a civil war of some kind. So what will an immortal species that spends most of its time being completely motionless really do in this type of simulation? For a celestial sapien, a million years could easily go by without them noticing, so there will be no evolution at all. I can only see it being like maybe annoying for Serena and Bellicus to have like a million years suddenly go by. Theory 4. Galvans can shed their skin. This is my explanation for the whole Azimuth dad being younger than Azimuth. My train of thought is that Galvans have a normal aging cycle like that of humans, but that after, let's say, 100 years, they shed their skin, making their bodies look young again. I know that that is more of a reptile thing and Galvans are closer to amphibians, but it's better than thinking that they age backwards. And not all aliens are exact to the animals they are based on. Like how Ripjaws is a male but it's based on a female anglerfish. For context, a male anglerfish looks like this. Theory 5. Gray matter intentionally has the Omnitrix in the back. My idea here is that Azimuth would have intentionally designed the Omnitrix to appear in the back of any Galvan as a way to restrain the user from attempting to modify the Omnitrix. And before you ask, about Alien Force, it only appears in the opening, and not in the show. So from my point of view, it never happened. Also, the fact that Ken in the future did it anyways doesn't go against this theory. I just said it made it harder, not impossible. Theory 6. Explaining the double Omnitrix. The double Omnitrix is introduced in Omniverse and makes no sense as part of the original idea for the Omnitrix. And at least the wiki told me that Ben canonically did it all on his own because he just wanted to fuse aliens. But one, we can only assume that it can still function as a normal Omnitrix, letting Ben still transform into one alien at a time if he wanted to. And two, and this is where the theory is, this Omnitrix could also scan mutant aliens, created by mixes of DNA. This could present itself as useful to the overall objective of preserving all alien species. That's it, that is the whole theory. Theory 7. Azimuth never noticed any problem with ectoneurites. The Omnitrix is supposed to transform the user into the alien they select, but some of the DNA is still that of the user. This could explain why there was never a problem with ectoneurites until Ben used the Omnitrix. As previous, let's say, testers of the Omnitrix were aliens smarter than Ben or most humans, letting these other aliens control the DNA of the ectoneurite with no problems. In other words, humans dumb, Galpan smart. Theory 8. The timeout was a limitation. When the Omnitrix was originally made, it could only transform the user for a limited amount of time, as whatever Omni-energy source that is inside it had not been made yet, with the whole timeout becoming a feature in later versions of the Omnitrix, kept in place as a way to limit the transformation of anyone that got their hands on the Omnitrix without the permission of its creator. This could explain why master control is even possible, as the Omnitrix very clearly doesn't actually need to recharge. Theory 9. The powers of Uririk are based on instincts. The powers of Uririk are a little too complex compared to other aliens, with their powers being a capacity to dismantle and assemble different kinds of machinery. But in the show, this is very different from a simple explanation of super intelligence. That is why I consider that it could be a form of instinctual understanding of machinery, with this species being in a constant necessity of constructing machines to survive, or at least having that need for an entire era of their history that led them to a form of evolutionary instinct. After all, we do know that their planet is supposed to be some kind of junkyard. Theory number 10. Explaining the Antitrix from the reboot. When the Antitrix is introduced in the reboot, Kevin explains it coming from one of his dreams, but in Ben 10 vs. the Universe movie, Vilgax explains that he sent this information to Kevin from the null void. So the question is, how did Vilgax learn how to make his own Omnitrix? Azimuth is also in the null void in the reboot, so it wouldn't be hard to believe that Vilgax either A. forced Azimuth to give him the basic blueprint of the Omnitrix, B. Vilgax simply stole the blueprint of the Omnitrix, or C. Vilgax was able to study the technology that Azimuth had inside the null void to make his own more limited version of the Omnitrix. Okay, that's it. Bonus round. Bashmouth is a mutant apoplexian. Chronosapiens are beings lost in time, and what we see is a suit that stabilizes their body. Gravatax's planet or sun that they live around is also an alien of the same species, just that it's a huge one, kind of like a Transformers do with Cybertron. And now that is all. Now like and subscribe because I have plans for 2 more videos about Ben 10. Just I don't really know when I'm going to make it. It could be next video, or maybe not. Oh, and let me know what you think. Again, feel free to insult me in the comments. Or maybe even you can just correct me if I got something wrong. No obligation to insult me. Bye. Del espacio le llegó algo muy especial y lo atrapó todos sus secretos el sabrá. Con superpoderes el cambio y ahora es bien.